Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that might seem a little daunting at first: EU funding.
It can seem like a maze, right?
Exactly, but it's a maze with a big pot of gold at the end, and we're here to help you navigate it.
That's right. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just have this amazing project idea you've been sitting on,
This is for you. And to guide us, we're going deep into this Romanian guide, Guide Complete Pentru Albinăria Financiară Europeană.
which translates to basically the complete guide to getting EU funding.
Catchy. I like it. But seriously, this guide is packed with insider tips, things that evaluators actually look for in a successful application.
It really emphasizes transparency right off the bat.
Okay, transparency.
Yeah.
So it's more than just, being honest, right? What does that look like when you're actually putting an application together?
Well, think about it. Evaluators are going through tons and tons of these applications. So a really clear, well-structured proposal that's easy for them to digest, that stands out.
It shows you're respecting their time.
Exactly. It builds that trust right away.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't show up to a business meeting in your pajamas, right?
Point taken. First impressions matter. And speaking of making a good impression, the guide dives into something called the evaluation grid.
Ah, yes.
Which to me sounds a little bit like, I don't know, a panel of judges about to give you a score for like synchronized swimming.
Well, it is about scoring in a way.
Yeah.
It's the set of criteria they use to actually assess your project. And honestly, understanding this grid, that's key.
It's like knowing the rules of the game before you start playing.
Yeah, exactly. And once you know those rules, then you can strategize, right? For example, did you know that in many cases, offering a voluntary contribution that's even just 10% above the minimum requirement, that can actually earn you bonus points.
Wait, really? It's like those hidden bonus points in a video game.
Exactly.
It gives you an edge. Okay, so it's not just about meeting the minimum requirements. It's about strategically going above and beyond in certain areas. But getting those points is one thing. How do you make sure you actually score them?
Justification.
Justification.
The guide really hammers this point home. Every single thing, every point you put on that evaluation grid,
Yeah.
you had to back it up.
Okay, I'm hearing justification a lot, but I need you to paint me a picture here. What does that actually look like in the context of an application?
So imagine you're building a legal case.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't just go in there and be like, hey, I deserve to win this case and just leave it at that. You need to present evidence.
Okay.
You need to make your case, convince the jury with solid arguments.
So in a funding application, what's our evidence? Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you're requesting funding for a new piece of equipment. Instead of just saying, we need a new high-powered microscope, you need to explain why that microscope is essential for your research, how it will lead to specific breakthroughs, and how it all ties back to the larger goals of your project.
So you're connecting the dots for them, showing how each request, no matter how small, contributes to the bigger vision.
Yes.
And this is where I imagine having a rock-solid business plan is absolutely crucial, which the guide seems to agree with because it really dives deep into that.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just paperwork. It's really the heart and soul of your application.
So walk us through it. What are the key elements of a business plan that really wows those evaluators, according to the guide?
Well, first, you start with your story.
Okay.
Who are you as a company? What have you accomplished so far? Even if you're a newer company, it's about showing that you're not just starting yesterday.
It's like, hey, we've got this. We have the experience. We have the passion.
Exactly. And then you move on to highlighting your resources. What expertise, skills, network are you bringing to the table?
So you're painting a picture of a capable team that's ready to take on this challenge.
Right. And then we get to the heart of it, the justification for the investment. This is where you clearly demonstrate why your project is worthy of their funding. What's the potential impact? How is it innovative?
Because it's not just about you. It's about how you fit into this bigger picture of what the EU is trying to achieve, right?
Exactly. And of course, you'll need to detail the technology, the equipment you'll be using, always justifying each request, like we talked about with our microscope example.
Right. Connect those dots. Okay, so we've laid the groundwork, we've built our case, and shown that we're not afraid of a good microscope. What else should we be thinking about?
Now it's time to move beyond the why, like why this project is important, and get into the how.
Okay, so less talk, more action, time to show them what we're made of. What does the guide say about really proving your project's potential?
You need to paint a really clear picture of your product or service,
Okay.
what problem you're solving, what's unique about your approach, and really importantly, why are people going to want to use it? This is not the time to be vague.
Got it. Show, don't tell. Right. Paint that vivid picture. But even the best product in the world needs to actually get out there.
Exactly. Marketing. Your
Yeah.
marketing plan needs to show you've thought about how to reach your audience. Are you going to use social media campaigns? Are you going to try to partner with people?
Right, because you can have like the best invention in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to go anywhere. So what else do we need to be prepared to show them?
Market analysis is really important. You can't just exist in a bubble.
Right.
You need to know who your competitors are, what are the current trends in the market, and how does your amazing project fit into all of that,
It's like you wouldn't open a bakery if you didn't know that people even liked bread,
right?
right?
Or what kind of bread they like.
Like,
You got to know your market. And then finally, you're going to have to show them the growth potential. The EU, they want to fund things that are going to scale up, create more jobs.
right, they're looking for that long-term impact. So it's not just about making a successful project, it's about showing that it can actually make a difference in a bigger way.
Absolutely. Which brings us to two really important words,
Yeah.
sustainability and innovation. And these aren't just buzzwords, they're super important to the EU.
Okay. So it's about creating a successful project, but doing it in a way that aligns with that bigger vision. What are some things that come to mind when you think about those two big ideas? Like, what does that look like in an application?
Well, it really depends on your field, right? But let's say you're developing some cool new technology. Are you trying to minimize its environmental impact? Have you thought about the ethical implications?
Yeah.
Are you creating something that could benefit everyone, not just a small group of people? These are all things you need to consider.
It's like inventing, I don't know, a solar-powered teleportation device. That's amazing and all, but what if it rips apart the space-time continuum? Like, think bigger picture.
Exactly. It's about being a responsible innovator and really thinking about the long-term consequences.
Okay, so we've got responsibility covered, we've got innovation. What about everybody's favorite topic?
Money.
Finances. It's the lifeblood of any project. So what does the guide say about creating a realistic financial forecast?
It all comes back to transparency. You need to be really upfront about your company's financial situation right now. Your income, your expenses, all of it.
So even if your, books aren't perfectly balanced, it's better to just be upfront about it.
Absolutely. It shows that you understand your own financial situation
Yeah.
and that you can manage funds responsibly.
Okay.
And then you need to have a plan for the future, like a projection. Where do you see your company going? How's this funding going to help you get there?
Yeah.
And importantly, what happens after the funding's gone?
So it's not just about spending their money, it's about using it to build something that can last.
Right, exactly. And of course, you need to break down all the costs. Every single euro needs to be accounted for.
So it's like planning a road trip. You need to budget for gas, for snacks, for that weird roadside attraction you know you're going to stop at.
Perfect analogy. You need to be really detailed, really realistic. Show that you're going to be a good steward of their investment.
Okay, so we've got our finances in check. We've got our sustainability hat on. We are like packed and ready for this funding journey. What's next? What does the guide say about actually hitting that submit button? So this is it, huh? We've reached the final boss of EU funding, hitting that submit button.
Well, not quite yet. The guide actually recommends setting aside a good 2 to 4 weeks just to finalize everything. You don't want to rush this part.
Yeah, makes sense. We've come this far. Might as well make sure everything is perfect. So what's on that final checklist? What documents do we absolutely need to have ready to go?
Well, you've got your business plan, of course.
Right, polished and ready to impress.
And your financial projections, those are key.
Got it. What else?
And then you'll need all the legal stuff. Things like your company registration, tax statements, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Oh, and don't forget about those supporting documents.
Ah, yes, the hype squad.
Exactly. Letters of recommendation, maybe endorsements from experts in your field, anything that strengthens your case.
It's like gathering all the evidence to prove that your project isn't just a good idea, it's the idea the EU needs to get behind.
Exactly. This is your victory lap, showing them all the amazing things you've already done and what you're capable of in the future.
I love it. Okay, we've covered so much ground here today. From the tiniest details of the application to that bigger picture of like global impact and sustainability, it's been quite a journey through this guide. But before we sign off, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are now hopefully feeling super inspired to chase those EU funding dreams?
Honestly, this guide, it's incredible, but it's just a tool, right? It's up to you to actually use it. Don't let this process intimidate you. If you've got a great idea, if you've got the passion, Go for it.
Don't just dream it, do it.
Right.
And remember, the EU isn't just investing in projects, they're investing in people. So let that passion shine through. Tell your story and really show them why your project deserves to be seen and heard.
Couldn't have said it better myself. There are so many opportunities out there. And this guide, it's like we said, it gives you the roadmap, but you're the one behind the wheel.
So buckle up, hit the gas, and go make those dreams a reality.